Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching Diversity in Plant Kingdom part 4. In the last class we have discussed about viruses, bacteria, algae and fungi. And in today's class let us discuss about the mosses, that is bryophytes, pteridophytes, angiosperms and gymnosperms. Okay, are you ready children? Let us proceed. Bryophyta. The Bryophyta, let us continue. These are the prominent stage of the life cycle of the mosses is the gametophyte, which consisting of two stages. The first stage is a protonema stage, which develops directly from a spore. Okay, it is a creeping green branched and frequently filamentous stage. The second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud. Okay, about the reproduction. Asexual reproduction liverworts takes place by fragmentation or by the formation of specialized structures called gemme. Okay, asexual reproduction takes place through gemme or fragmentation. What are gemme? The gemme are green multicellular asexual buds which develops in small receptacles called gemma cups. The gemme becomes detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individuals. So during sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or on different thalli. Okay? The sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta and capsule. The spores produced within the capsule germinate to form free living gametophytes. Okay, so the second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud. They consist of upright slender axis bearing spirally arranged leaves. Okay, see here you can see Marcantia, male thallus and female thallus. The male thallus archigoniophore, antheridiophore. Okay, antheridiophore and archigoniophore, these are the male and female. Shows the gemma cup here. The rhizoids are the root-like structures; they are not true roots. Okay, the body of these bryophytes, moss plants, is also called the thallus. Okay, vegetative reproduction in mosses is by fragmentation and budding. In the secondary protonema stage, budding also occurs. In sexual reproduction, the sex organs, antheridia and archigonia, are produced at the apex of the leaf shoots. Here, see, at the apex of the leaf shoots, these antheridia and archigonia are produced. And after fertilization, the zygote develops into the sporophyte consisting of a foot, seta and a capsule. The sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate than that of the liverworts. The capsule contains spores. The spores are formed after the meiosis cell division. The mosses have an elaborate mechanism of spore dispersal. The common examples are here Marcantia, okay, Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. Okay, these are some more examples. Next, the gametophyte of mosses consisting of two stages. The first stage is the protonema stage. Once again, this protonema stage develops spores or develop directly from the spores. It is the asexual stage. It is creeping, green, and frequently filamentous. The second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud having upright, slender axis bearing spirally arranged leaves. Okay. Vegetative reproduction is by the fragmentation and budding in secondary protonema. In sexual reproduction, the sex organs Antheridia and Archegonia are produced at the apex of the leafy shoots. Sporophytes in masses are more developed and consists of foot, seta, and capsule. The common examples are Funaria, Polytrichum, Sphagnum. Okay, this is capsule. Okay, so this is the sporophyte. The sporophyte is the asexual stage. The protonema develops into the sporophyte. Directly the spore germinate to form the sporophyte. Okay, it is divided into foot. This is foot. This is seta. And this is capsule. Foot, seta, and capsule. This is Funaria example. Funaria, Polytrichum, and Sphagnum. These are the examples of mass plants. Next, Pteridophyta. This is the last category of cryptogams. The Pteridophyta, this group of plant kingdom classification, is known as the first terrestrial vascular plants because they have true xylem and phloem tissues. If you see the characteristic features, they are seedless vascular plants that have sporophytic plant body and inconspicuous gametophyte. The sporophytic plant body is differentiated into true stem, true roots, and true leaves. Okay, stem, root, and leaves appear. That's why these are the first landed plants, seedless vascular plants. The vascular tissue are present, but the vessels are absent from xylem, and companion cells and sieve tubes are absent from the phloem. Okay, from xylem vessels are absent, and from the phloem companion cells and sieve tubes are absent. You have studied about the plant tissues in that lesson, the elements of xylem and phloem. What are the elements of xylem and phloem absent in these pteridophytes? Xylem vessels and companion cells and sieve tube elements of phloem are absent in the pteridophytes. The sporophytes bear sporangia that are subtended by leaf-like appendages called sporophylls. What are sporophylls means? Sporophylls are the spore-bearing bodies. Spore-bearing body. Okay. So you can clearly differentiate a plant of pteridophyte into the stem, leaves, roots, etc. Okay. If you take especially the sporophytes, okay, in some plants, the Selaginella, the compact structure called strobili or cone is formed. Selaginella. Okay. Next, you can take in Selaginella or large macrophylls. They are called macrophylls as in the ferns. The leaves in the Pteridophyta are small. Actually, they are called microphylls. But in Selaginella, they are called macrophylls. The sporophyte bears sporangia that are subtended by leaf-like appendages called sporophylls. In some cases, the sporophylls may form distinct compact structures called strobili or cones. Example, you can take Selaginella and Equisetum also. Another example, Equisetum. The sporangia produce spores by meiosis. in spore mother cells. Special cells are present, they are called SMC, spore mother cells. So they undergo the meiosis and produce the spores. The spores germinate to give rise to inconspicuous, small but multicellular, free living, mostly photosynthetic, thalloid gametophytes. In the beginning only we have mentioned the seedless vascular plants that have sporophytic plant body, that is inconspicuous gametophyte. It is also called a prothallus. P-R-O, prothallus. Prothallus is produced. Next, the sporangia produce spores by meiosis in the spore mother cells. The spores germinate to produce a multicellular thalloid prothallus. The gametophyte bears male and female sex organ called antheridia and archegonia. Water is required for fertilization of male and female gametes. These gametophytes require cool, damp, shady places to grow. Because of the specific restricted requirement and the need for water for fertilization, the spread of living pteridophytes is limited and restricted to narrow geographical regions. This is the reason why. The gametophytes bear male and female sex organs called antheridia and archegonia respectively. Water is required for transfer of especially antherozoids. Antherozoids means what do you call antherozoids? Antherozoids are nothing but male gametes. Most of the pteridophytes produce spores, that is antherozoids, of similar kind. Then it is called as a homosporous. But in Selaginella and Salvinia, the spores are of two kinds, heterosporous. If the spores are of same kind, homosporous. Different kinds, heterosporous. The larger called as megaspore, that produce female gametophyte, and the smaller one it is called as microspore, that produce male gametes. See here a typical fern pteridophyte. Here rhizome, rhizoids, these are rhizoids. Stem is called rhizome. Leaves are called fronds. You have to remember, what do you call the stem of pteridophytes? Rhizome. Root of pteridophytes, rhizoids. Leaf of the pteridophyte, it is called fronds. The fronds are having pinna, and these are having brown color spots, they are called sori. This is the stipe of the leaf, and these are the spores. The spores are released they germinate to produce a gametophyte, that is called as a prothallus. That gametophyte develops to produce the male and female sex organs. They are antheridia and archegonia. Most of the pteridophytes produce similar kind of spores, that is homosporous. But in Selaginella, heterosporous. Selaginella and Salvinia, heterosporous spores are produced. In the heterosporous spores, the larger one is called as a female gametophyte, and the smaller one, microspore, it is produce the male gametophyte. Now this heterosporous condition, the megaspores and microspores germinate and give rise to female and male gametophytes respectively. The female gametophyte in these plants are retained on the parent sporophytes for variable periods, means for the required number of days. The development of zygotes into young embryos for these Young embryos take place within the female gametophytes. This event is a precursor to the seed habit, means during the process of evolution. So it is a precursor to the seed habit, considered as an important step in evolution. The pteridophytes are further classified into 4 classes actually. They are Coelopsida, example Coelotum; Lycopsida, example Lycopodium salaginella; and Spinopsida. Spinopsida include Equisetum, and Pteropsida include Dryopteris, Pteris, Ediantum. You will study in higher class. Okay. Now come to Gymnosperms. What are Gymnosperms? Gymnosperms are those plants in which the ovules are not enclosed inside the ovary wall and remain exposed before and after fertilization. So that's why gymnos means naked, sperma means seed, naked seeded plants they are perennial, means live for long time, and woody, forming either bushes or trees. Some are very large, example the largest gymnosperm Sequoia sempervirens, Sequoia sempervirens, and others are very small Jamia pygmea. Jamia pygmea. Okay, so this is the another species. Okay, the stem may be unbranched, for example cycas, or it may be branched, example pinus. These are known examples. Root is taproot, and the leaves may be simple or compound. Okay, compound means the leaflets are present. Okay, and you can see gymnosperms include the medium sized trees or tall trees and shrubs. Okay, the roots are generally taproot, and roots in some genera have even fungal association in the form of mycorrhiza, example pinus. In pinus you will see mycorrhiza association, symbiotic association. Okay, while in some other cycas, small specialized roots called corolloid roots. Corolloid roots are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. Okay, the stems are unbranched in the cycas and branched in pinus, and another example is also there, Seedless. Okay, the leaves may be simple or compound. So this is one example of the pine tree. Okay, cone containing the seeds for reproduction. There are no flowers. Okay, seedless fruits are present. Root, the seeds for reproduction. The cones are present. That's why they are called conifers, needle-like leaves. Okay, the root system is underground and the taproot system is present. Okay, so there is no fruit, only seeds are present. All dates, date palms, okay, sago palms are examples of these gymnosperms. Further, let us discuss. They are heterosporous, means unequal spores are produced, and produce a haploid microspore and megaspore in male and female strobili respectively. Okay, microspore is the male spore and megaspore is the female spore. That is called the strobili. The male and female gametophytes do not have independent free living. Okay, these actually the leaves in the gymnosperms are well adapted to withstand the extreme conditions like temperature, humidity and wind. Actually in conifers, the previous picture, okay, the conifers, so these are conifers. In conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area, so their thick cuticle and sunken stomata also help to reduce water loss. Okay, the gymnosperms are heterosporous. They produce haploid microspores and megaspores. The two kinds of spores are produced within the sporangia that are borne on sporophylls, which are arranged spirally along the axis to form lax or compact strobili. Strobili is nothing but cones. What are strobili? Strobili nothing but cones. Okay, the male and female gametophytes do not have independent free living existence. The pollination occurs through air, and zygote develops into embryo and ovules into seeds. Zygote develops into embryo and ovules into seeds. These seeds are naked seeds. Example: Pinus, Cycas, Seedless, Ginkgo. This is the living fossil, Ginkgo. Like ginkgos, Gametophytes, Cycads, conifers. Okay. So, unlike bryophytes and pteridophytes, in gymnosperms, the male and female gametophytes do not have an independent free living existence. They remain within the sporangia, retained on the sporophytes. The pollen grain is released from the microsporangium. They are carried in air currents and come in contact with the opening of the ovules borne on megasporophylls. The pollen tube carrying the male gametes grows towards the archegonia in the ovules and discharge their contents near the mouth of the archegonia. Okay, which is followed by fertilization. Zygote develops into embryo and ovules develop into seeds. So these seeds are not covered, so they are naked seeds. Okay, example: pines, that only, Pinus, Cycas, Seedless, Ginkgo. Now, the Angiosperms. They are the modern plants. Okay, they range the size from the tiny and almost microscopic Wolffia to the large trees like eucalyptus over 100 meters. Okay. So if you take these angiosperms, the pollen grain and ovules are developed in a specialized structure called flower. The seeds are enclosed inside the fruits. The characteristic features we are discussing: flowers and seeds, fruits, they are prominent. Okay, the size varies from almost microscopic Wolffia, that is 0.1 centimeter, to tall tree eucalyptus more than 100 meters height. The male sex organs in a flower is a stamen, and it contains pollen grains. Okay, the stamen containing the male reproductive organ, what is that? You studied in your lower classes. Anther. That anther produce pollen or pollen grains. They are male gametes. The female sex organs in a flower is the pistil or the carpels. Okay, which is divided into stigma, style, and ovary. Ovary is the female reproductive organ. The pistil consisting of an ovary enclosing one or more ovules. Within ovules are present highly reduced female gametophytes, which is termed as embryo sac. An embryo sac consisting of the 7 cells, that is an egg cell, 2 antipodals, okay, and synergids, 3 synergids. Okay, total 7 cells are present, and a secondary nucleus also. Okay, each embryo sac has 3-celled egg apparatus. Okay, that 3-celled egg apparatus consisting of 1 egg cell and 2 synergids. Okay, and 3 antipodal cells and 2 polar nuclei. Okay, the polar nuclei eventually fuse to produce a diploid secondary nucleus, which is called as a endosperm. Okay, this is the production of embryo sac is a characteristic feature of angiosperms. Okay, so 1 egg cell, 2 synergids, and 3 antipodal cells and 2 polar nuclei. The polar nuclei eventually fuse to produce a diploid secondary nucleus. The pollen grains after dispersal from the anther are carried by wind or various other agencies to the stigma of a pistil. This is termed as a pollination. Okay. So more you are going to learn in the next class. Okay, about double fertilization. Okay, and life cycle of angiosperms, everything we will see. Okay, children, read the book. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.